warm welcome everyone, my name is Nick and I hope you are well. This time round we're on the Commodore 64 and we're looking at a game I really enjoyed playing on the ZX Spectrum. This one is SCUBA Dive by Durell Software in 1983, on the Commodore 64 of course, also come out on the Oric. Now, in this game you take the role of a pearl diver who must dive down out of his boat, avoid all the sea life and collect pearls and other precious minerals and take them back to the boat before your oxygen has run out. So here we are. It's like, well, the Spectrum version was a flip screen one. Hopefully this is the same, where you can just go exploring to your heart's content. It's only 4 directions and there's no inertia on it either, so that's a bit iffy. That's a bit unusual. The Spectrum version you have sort of like energy. This one it seems like if you hit a creature you fall down. I do feel like they're going past these animals very very quickly as like lanes of motorway in Frogger. Not quite as good so far. The boat's a lot bigger than the Spectrum version, the diver's a lot smaller. Now in the middle there's an opening that you can keep seeing. Let's collect these pearls. If you go through that opening I think you can go to other caverns. That wasn't like the Spectrum version. The Spectrum version, oh look, I know I don't like that. You can't go off the side of the screen like a flip screen. This doesn't feel like Scuba Dive. What's going on? Right, we've got a row of jellyfish. We've got some poles. We take them back to the boat. We've got to go on the back of the boat. If you hit the boat, you're dead. It's that kind of a boat. Right, there we go. So we took some money back. You can see the air on the right-hand side. Not liking this so far, only because it doesn't feel like the Scuba Dive I know. Do check out my revisited review on the ZX Spectrum because I loved that game there. I don't know why they haven't done flip screen, but as I say, if you go down this hole here correctly, you can go to other caverns. If you get it wrong, like I just did, this big octopus comes along and kills you. I don't like this game. Let me know if you owned that back in the day. It'd probably get a bit more exciting if you can get through that hole down the bottom to see the various caverns, which will probably be an orange or red sort of colour. And the deeper you go, the more precious the pearls are and the more bigger the animals that are come after and get you. I won't be probably playing this again. It's not a bad game, it's just that as a conversion of Scuba Dive it's not great. They should have called it something else, I think. But anyway, it's quite often like that, isn't it? If you played a certain game on a certain system growing up and you play it on a different system and it's not quite the same game, you're always going to be a little bit disappointed, and vice versa. If you had this as a kid and not the Spectrum version, you wonder what's going on. But it's very hard not to love the Spectrum version because that just says exploration. It's not all about collecting the pearls on that one, it's just seeing what you can find. There's a huge octopus on that one as well, but better than this like comical one going across here. Game over. Well, to say, to get the best out of it, you need to get down that hole down the bottom, so I do know you need to go through there. But let's just see if we can collect these pearls here and get back. Maybe it'll give us a different screen, but the ability not to swim off to the left or the right with the screens like flipping to that direction is a big no-no for me. And the fish are swimming across miles too fast, as I say, like lanes of traffic in Horace Goes Skiing or something. Can't be overly cruel with this one, really, comparing it to another version. I'd probably give it a 6. Spectrum version I'd probably give it a 10 just for nostalgia reasons, but you know. Look at those jellyfish at the top there going across in single file. Not very well animated, but there we go. If you completed this back in the day, like get the best pearls, let me know. How did you do? But it's just rather flat, really. When it comes to sea type games, I'm not sure how many underwater ones there are, but I did like Aquaplane on the Commodore 64. That wasn't too bad either. Another one that was on the Spectrum as well. A Life on the Ocean Wave, do 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 ba da ba ba do, dee la dee 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 dee. I pretty much had enough of this one now. There's not too much variety going on. Once you've played it a little bit, you've seen all of it. So 1983, diving for pearls. We've got small pearls. If only life was this easy. You dive for pearls with no animals in the way, like electric eels. You go back to your boat, you go back to shore, and you sell the pearls for lots and lots of money. It's a bit like diving for money, really. If you are a pearl diver, let me know. Comment below. I expect there's quite a lot of competition. The money now, underwater exploration, is finding old shipwrecks, isn't it? Like galleons and treasures and what Titanic sort of vessels are down there, or UFOs maybe. But this, Yeah, it's a bit dull, isn't it, really? But, you know, if you own it back in the day, as I say, you'll have a certain bit of nostalgia for it, and you'll probably like it a bit more than me. The divers are sort of like a stick man. Could have been doing a bit bigger. Not using much of the screen, is it? A lot of it's used in the right-hand side. Graphically, that right-hand side score bit could have been a lot more interesting as well. So we get hit by some sort of killer cod. It's a bit arcadey, isn't it, really? But not in an arcade you'd like to play for any length of time. Game over! Game over, and we've drowned again. Durell. Can we change the level we start on? That might mix it up a bit, mightn't it? Play of level... Anyway. Sploosh. Right, let's just try and get all the pearls this time. Then let's play it like a single screen game. Let's not worry about the caverns. Air is looking quite promising. It's not going down very quickly. Which means to say, if you can get down that hole in the middle, which isn't animated particularly well, but if you can get down there, great. On the Spectrum version, to get to lower caverns, what you do is you swim up to an octopus that would guard in a big entrance, and you have to get the timing right. And that was one of the main excitements of the game, really. And then get the time right and swim past that, and that was a huge sprite. Back in the day, the things that made you excited as a kid was the occasional bit of speech, on the Spectrum at least, and massive graphics of the enemy, because that really built up your fun value, your imagination. Here they're just going across as if they're on a computer loop. Boo! And yeah, you just fall down. You don't float down, but you wouldn't do that in real life. The sea is grey. It's not blue. But I suppose they couldn't do it blue because the sky's blue. Yeah, maybe they should have switched that. On the Spectrum version, it's black. Black. I've probably had enough of this now. On that right column, underneath where it says held, you can see how many lives you got left, represented by those diving masks there. Boop. So this isn't going to be a complete walkthrough, as you know. Let me know what you think about the game below, graphically, limited sound, bits I'm not doing. As I say, I already know if you can go through that hole, there's caverns below, so I know that bit. But the fact that it's not scrolling left or right really cuts down the exploration sort of like value for me. You might be able to do that if you get to the caverns below, not sure. Yeah, but even so, it's set out a little bit wrong. Also, as well, you had the graphics of the seabed on the Spectrum version. It went up and down. It's sort of like mountainous at times. This is just dead flat. There are better versions about it. I don't know how it plays on the Oric computer. Never seen that in action, to be honest with you. If you know, let me know. I guess it's nearer to this than the Spectrum version. As I say, that was absolute genius, in my opinion. Don't swim into jellyfish. That's always a good tip. Right, okay. So many Commodore 64 games still to look at, of course. Loads and loads and loads and loads. Loads of Spectrum ones as well, amazingly enough. Do check out the Commodore 64 games reviewed so far. We're recently past 50, and every time we do a batch of 50, we do like a round-up video. So reviewed Commodore 64 games 1 to 50. Have a look at that. A lot of good ones there, because I just first started, so I had basically the whole catalogue to choose from. As you go further in, as you do with any system, you'll find more weird and unusual ones, and sometimes some rubbish ones too. But there's still a lot of brilliant games still to look at. 1 to 50 is just scratching the surface. Spectrum, we're coming up to 500. Amazing stuff. Yes. Right, swim, swim, swim. I don't think you do swim down vertically, do you? It might give you, especially going back up again, it might give you the bends. Now, how deep is he now compared to his body? That's very, very deep indeed. He's too small for the boat, though, isn't he, really? Boat's gradually drifting to the right to make it a bit of a challenge coming back up again, so you don't want to lose sight of that. I suppose that must happen to real divers as well, mustn't it? If they've been under the water for such a long time. But a sensible thing would be if the boat person just puts the anchor down, perhaps, so it doesn't move. What a wally. Boo! Is that me dead? That might be dead. As a spider comes along and mops up my corpse, and the boat people say, fair enough, no poles today. Well, I hope you liked having a look at that one. It was okay. When you do a bit of exploring down the bottom, it might get a little bit better, but as I say, a little bit disappointed, a little bit underwhelmed. So that was Scuba Dive on the Commodore 64, published by Durell Software in 1983. Got any comments about that game, similar games, or anything retro, then please put that below. You're always more than welcome. A massive thanks to everyone that's subscribed so far, helping the channel grow. It really is appreciated. If you want to help that bit more, it's patreon.com/njenkin. Every bit really does help. Until next time, take great care of yourself and a very fond goodbye.
Goodbye.